Welcome back to Butterfly. We missed you last week. We had some unforeseen circumstances that happened last week, which caused us not to be able to upload, but we're back. And this week, I'm not doing 3 recipes. I'm doing 4 awesome recipes. There is no theme for this week. These are just recipes that we love and we wanted to share with you. So tonight we're doing a Tuscan salmon that is absolutely delicious with a Parmesan cream sauce with wild rice and some steamed green beans. Let's go over the ingredients so we can start cooking. We got some heavy cream, olive oil, white wine. We're using a Pinot Grigio. You can use whatever that tastes good to you. It should be a dry white wine. I got some wild rice, butter, garlic. For the seasonings, we have my all-time favorite seasoning salts. I have some sun-dried tomatoes, pepper. I had some Parmesan cheese and some spinach. And of course, salmon. This salmon was actually caught by my husband. He goes salmon fishing every year. So this is one of many that he's caught. And let's get to cooking. All right, so on the stove back here, I got some green beans going. They're steaming. I have some water boiling for our rice. I am just gonna pop, and I actually have some chicken base in that rice, to, water for the rice. I'm gonna pop the rice in. We're gonna stir that up. Stir it up, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it down to a medium, pop a lid on it. We're gonna leave it be. I got some green beans going. I got some just frozen green beans. We're gonna let those do its thing. We'll mess with those in a minute. So I put some oil on salmon. What I'm doing is just gonna all nice and oily. Not that this fish needs any more fat. It is a fatty fish, but flavor is flavor. We're gonna do that. Have I ever mentioned I really don't like touching raw meat? Really don't like doing it, but I do it anyway. What we're gonna do is add some salt. If you season from above, it does cover the salmon a lot better, or anything that you're seasoning and gives it a better coverage. And we're gonna season all sides. Again, flavor is the key here. You want a lot of flavor in salmon, because you don't want to, unflavored salmon is yucky salmon. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to also put some pepper on it. And then we're going to pop over to the stove in a minute here, okay? That sizzling sound, that is what you're looking for when you're putting this in. You want a hot pan. This goes for anything that you cook. Meat, any kind of meat especially, because that's when you're going to get the best sear. When you get a good sear, you get a good flavor. All right, we're going to sear these on all sides. And then what we're going to do is place it on a clean plate. Once that is seared, we're going to place it onto a clean plate so we can get into making the sauce. Because I am excited about the sauce more than I am about anything else here. So we'll get to that point. I'll show you what it looks like when it's nice and seared and beautiful. We'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, so look how deliciously, beautifully brown they are. I am gonna bring down my heat here. I'm gonna turn it off for a few minutes. I gotta cut up some garlic, and then we're gonna get into this dish, making the sauce and stuff. This little gadget is the coolest little thing. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over the place. This is a garlic peeler. I will link it down below. It actually came with the garlic press, which is awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a clove of garlic in there. And my daughter loves this job. I cannot tell you how many times I have to fight her to do this job because it is fun to do. Even my husband gets a kick out of it. So see, nice and clean clove of garlic. That's aside. Do one more. And of course, there is no garlic limit. If you want to have more garlic in this dish, go for it. I just don't feel like peeling a bunch of garlic. So I got 2 cloves of garlic here. I'm going to do is add it right down in there. The only downside of garlic peels is garlic presses is they're so not fun to clean out. It makes your fingers stink because you see, like in there, it just stuck in there. Pull that out. We're gonna add 1 more clove of garlic. All right, we're gonna go work on the sauce. We're gonna pop open the wine. Hopefully it does not have a cork. Girl does not like it has a cork. All right, we're gonna put about a half a cup of wine. I don't measure. I don't think I ever measure. I just eyeball everything. Cooking is not about measurements. It's about making things taste the way you want it to taste. You need to just go with it. There's no reason to fear. If I put more than a half a cup of wine, I put more than half a cup of wine. If I put less than a half a cup of wine, I put less. It is okay. It's all good. So we're going to cook this down until this wine smells insanely good. Like it's like nothing. It's just mwah. Rice is about done. We're gonna bring that down. We'll let that sit. Alrighty. Green beans are about done. We're gonna let that sit. And this should be done in a few. Now, once this cooks down a little bit, we're gonna pop open. I'm gonna let that cook for a second. We're gonna pop open my tomatoes, my sun-dried tomatoes, and we're gonna get that in the pan with some cream, and we'll go from there. See how it all cooked down when you swipe through like that, and it comes down together slowly. That means it's cooked down quite a bit, and it cooked out all the alcohol. And it's all it's left. It's bright acidic flavor, which salmon loves. All right, now we're gonna add some cream. We're gonna add about a cup of cream. Again, I don't measure, I just eyeball things. We're gonna put about a cup of cream. Mix that all up. We're gonna add that in. What I'm also gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of the sun-dried tomato oil because that is gonna add a lot of flavor. We're gonna let this come to a simmer. And then we're gonna add the cheese, the salmon, everything else. So what we're gonna do, again, this is an eyeballing thing. Just a little bit of oil. We don't want too much because there's a lot of fat in here because we got the butter, we got the olive oil, and salmon itself is a very fatty fish. And we got the cream. This is a very rich dish. So if you're on a diet, this is not the dish for you. Alrighty, so now what we're gonna do is add some. We're gonna bring this up to a little bit of a simmer, which you'll see it will start bubbling around the edge. Do not boil this cream. If you boil it, it will separate, and that's gross. That's very gross. You do not want separated cream. So do not boil it. You'll end up scalding it. All right, so we're going to bring this to a simmer. Then I'm going to add the cheese. And then we'll go from there. See the little bubbles? It is simmering, so we're going to add the cheese. Again, non-measuring. It's a common theme here. I'm going to go ahead and let that just a little extra. All right, we're going to stir that in. Let that melt down a little bit. Alrighty, we're going to add a good handful of spinach, flying leaves. All right, I'm going to add about that much spinach. It will cook down quite a bit, just what we want. And then we're going to add the salmon right in. And then what I'm going to do is going to put a lid on this and let it cook for a few minutes till the spinach is wilted down and until the salmon's cooked through. We'll be right back. Look how amazing does that look. We're going to add some of the sauce right on top because I think the sauce is what's going to make this. Definitely going to add it to the rice. Like that. I am starving. My poor husband is starving. So we're going to have some dinner and we'll see you soon. Okay, this is night 2 of this week's dinners. Tonight is a cozy dinner. It is a roasted tomato soup and a tuna melt. Let's go over the ingredients so we can get to cooking. I got some sourdough bread. You can use whatever bread you want, but I highly recommend sourdough. I got 2 types of cheeses. I got a sharp cheddar, white cheddar, and a smoked provolone. The smoked provolone is for my husband. I got some tuna fish. My husband always recommends you use yellowfin tuna because it is real tuna. He is quite the fisherman. He fishes down in Long Island and stuff, so he does recommend that you get yellowfin. For the spices, I got some bruschetta seasoning. I just found this tonight, and I'm excited to see about this one. My seasoning salt, we all know and love her, and pepper. I've got some pickles and pickle juice. That is for the tuna salad. I got an onion and garlic. This is passata. Passata is just a strained tomato, and this is going to make the tomato soup even more tomato-y. I've got some mayo. My husband actually hates this stuff with a passion, but he's okay with it in tuna salad. Mustard. And I got some tomatoes. I got some like these smaller tomatoes and some cherry tomatoes. If you can get your hands on some plum tomatoes this time of year, that would be best because they would have the most flavor. So we're going to get to cooking. Let me clear this off so I can show what's next. All right, so what we're going to do is chop this onion up like so. We're going to do it like that. And then we're going to do it one more time. Oh, lady. Just throw them on the pan. You don't have to really, because at the end of the day, this is going to be pure. At the end of this, it's going to be pureed anyway. You don't really need to get precise. In fact, it's recommended you don't, because you're going to end up burning it, and the small bits will burn. This just protects it from being burnt. Oop, I didn't chop that up very well. That's fine. This is all gonna go in the oven at 400 degrees, and we're gonna have, it's gonna go on, and then it's gonna go until all these are blistered. And another thing we're gonna add into here, again, I'm not being precise. This is all it is. We're gonna roast the garlic up with it, because again, roasting all these tomatoes and the garlic and the onion gives it a lot of flavor. Alrighty, we're gonna put some oil on top. So, alrighty, add some salt. Again, season everything. Every layer that you season adds that much more flavor. Do not be afraid of the seasoning. There is no fear in the seasoning. Unless you're using cayenne, and if you use too much cayenne, then there's some fear there. But not in this sense here. Spice and seasonings are king in the kitchen. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get this all massaged in, get this all in. All right, so what we're gonna do, first I'm gonna wipe my hands off because I do not want to put oil all over my oven. What we're gonna do is throw this in the oven for about 20-25 minutes, or until it gets blistery and black. Depends on your oven and how hot it is. So just keep an eye on it. All right, I want to stick this in for about 25 minutes. As I stated before, just keep an eye on it. Honestly, all you're looking for is for everything to be dark and brown and blistered. It's not burnt if it looks black. It's just charring, and it is flavor. Do not be afraid of it. That's what we're looking for. I'll show you in a few. All right, while the tomatoes are doing its thing in the oven, we're going to work on the tuna salad. Honestly, right now is a good time to do this because you can stick it in the fridge, and the flavors in the tuna salad will marry and make a have good flavor. So in my bowl, I have my tuna. It's all flaked up, and this tuna is actually olive oil. We're going to leave it in there because it's just a really good flavor. All right, and we're going to add my husband's favorite ingredient as he turns green behind the camera. All right, we got the mayo in there. I got some seasonings. I'm going to do some salt. Lots of pepper. And my husband will probably end up adding, before I add this to some sandwich bread, my husband's going to add probably some hot sauce, like a buttload of hot sauce, just to hide the mayo flavor. And some mustard. I'm using Dijon. You can use whatever. All right, and now this is what makes this like the best ever. It's gonna sound funny. It's gonna sound weird, but pickles. Trust me on this. Pickles make this dish fabulous. What you're gonna do is cut these up as fine as you can. It just gives this a little bit of a, I guess you can use dill as well, but something about the vinegary tastiness of the pickles just does something for this. I don't think I've ever made tuna salad without pickles. I don't think I'll eat the tuna salad without pickles. I'm just getting that all finely chopped. You can also use like a dill pickled relish or something, but if you use that, you're going to miss out on like the best part of the pickles, using the pickles. And that is the juice, because the relish is, I guess it does have juice, but not like the dill pickle itself. So. nice and fine, like so. And we're gonna add that right in. I love pickles. I can eat pickles as a snack. I'm pretty sure pickles are a snack. It's not a condiment, it's a snack. So we're gonna add some little bit of pickle juice. You don't need a ton, so it'll get overpowering. But then mix this all in. Get this moving and grooving. Like I said, my husband is not a huge mayo fan, so I did not add a ton of it. If you want more mayo, go right ahead. Add more mayo, as my husband is gagging in the back. If you could see the face, he would be laughing. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to do is try this and make sure it is where I want it to be in flavor and seasoning. Okay. As I said before, unflavored food is yucky food. Perfect. Perfect. All right. We're going to add this. We're going to put this in the fridge and let this do its thing. And we'll be waiting on those tomatoes. We'll be right back. All right, so this is all done. So we peeled the garlic already. What is really amazing about, all right, so what we're doing is it's all done. As you can see, we peeled the garlic already. Fun thing about roasted garlic is it makes the flavor of garlic mild. It makes it sweet and absolutely delicious. I made my husband try it. He thought I was crazy, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He blows his mind. All right. So what I'm going to do is get all these in here. I'm going to have to maneuver this up in here. In fact, I might have to have my big, strong husband help me do this so I can get all this. You want to pour all of this into this pan. All of it. You do not want to leave any bits on this pan. This is all flavor that you see here. So we're going to pour all this in here, and we'll be back in a second.
Good.
Yep. All right, we're going to get that all in there. You see, we're going to get all that flavor in there. I'm going to go, give me a second here. We're going to take a rubber spatula, and we're going to scrape it down. And we're going to get all of it in there. All right. Look how gorgeous that is. And it smells absolutely amazing. And like I said, don't worry about the big onion. It will not stay big. I will end up pureeing it. Yeah, so we're going to get into that, okay? I need the passata. I'm going to add the passata right into the... Ooh, it's thick. I'm not going to add the entire jar because I don't need the entire jar. It's a lot. All right. And then we're going to add some water. And then we're going to turn on the stove. We're going to heat it up through. And then we're going to puree it. And we'll be back in a second. All right, so I melted some butter and I added this bruschetta seasoning to the butter because we want, again, flavor and everything. So what I'm going to do is turn on the stove and we're going to start assembling our tuna melts. All right, so I will meet you over at the stove and I'll show you how to assemble. I'm sure you know how to assemble a tuna melt, but I'll show you anyway. Right, so you see this? I put the cheese at the bottom as a layer between the tuna and the bread because the tuna will make the bread soggy and it won't come out all that great. So and extra cheese. There's nothing ever wrong with extra cheese. Definitely not. I'm gonna get very nice and liberal with this. Second here, this one's my husband, so we're gonna do, this is my husband's favorite hot sauce, So what we're going to do is liberally, and I say liberally, I mean liberally, add hot sauce. See? It might look like a lot. You can handle it. Alrighty, we're gonna add the cheese right on top, like so. And then we're gonna add some to mine. Alright, I am not adding hot sauce. I don't eat a lot of spicy foods. It makes my, doesn't agree with me too well, so I don't mess with it too much. So, just hope I don't bite in the wrong one, right? That might be a bad day for me. Already add that. Alright, and then we're gonna put the tops on. I did not start the stove yet because I didn't want the bread to burn before I was able to get all that assembled. And assembling it off this thing takes a hard job. It was a hard job. So we're gonna let that heat up. I'm gonna go up to a medium. We do not want to cook it too fast because we want it time for the cheese to melt and all that. So we're gonna let that sit. We're gonna go back over to the soup and we're gonna puree it. I'm going to use an immersion blender. But if you do not have an immersion blender, go right ahead and use a regular blender. Just make sure you vent it. Because if you don't vent it, the hot liquid will make it burst open. It will pop open and that will result in an emergency ER trip. We do not want that. So please vent it if you're going to use a closed-in blender. So let's puree this. We're going to turn off the stove. Again, one of those things. You do not puree anything on heat. Turn off the stove. Lots of precautions. All right. And we're going to just start pureeing. Alright, I'm going to keep pureeing and then I'll show you what it looks like when we get back. Alright, so I did not show this in the ingredient lineup. I am adding some heavy cream to make this a creamy, delicious soup. If you do not want to do heavy cream, you do not have to. That is a total preference there. But I am definitely going for it. We're going to stir that in. And we're going to let that heat through and the soup is done. And then I'm going to go flip these over. Oh gosh. Milk status. Okay. Oh. Are you excited for dinner? Dinner is done. It looks fabulous. It tastes fabulous. I'm not gonna lie, I sneak peek the taste here, and it is fabulous. We're gonna dig in, and I cannot wait for you to see the next one, the next meal. That one is gonna be a big one, and I'm excited. You have to stay tuned for that one. So we'll talk to you later. Bye. Welcome back. This is night 3 of our dinners. Tonight is a lemon herb roast chicken. Tonight's dinner is going to take a little longer to cook. It is easy, but it just takes a little bit longer to cook. However, the length of the cooking time is well worth the leftovers that we're going to get. The roast chicken you can use for chicken tacos, chicken salad sandwiches. Having leftovers, roasting a whole chicken gives you leftovers for a few days. Let's go over the ingredients so we can get to cooking. All right, so we have a whole chicken. This is about 5.5 pounds. I got some spices here. I'm using a Tuscan, Mediterranean Tuscan spice. My adobo seasoning, we all know that. I got thyme, garlic. Yes, that is a lot of garlic, but I'll show you why we're going to use all that. We have some butter. I've got some melted butter and then some softened butter. Got some baby carrots, an onion. We got some baby potatoes and a lemon. Let's get cooking. All right, so we're going to start by cutting up these potatoes in half. The bigger ones maybe in quarters. We're going to just stick them at the bottom of our pan. These are going to, what the potatoes and the carrots are essentially is a bed for the chicken to lie on. So it's off the base of the dish. And then obviously as a side as well. This is a very good like one pot dinner. So we're going to cut all these up, and then once we get this done, we will go from here. All right, so I am using some avocado oil on the veggies here. I'm going to sprinkle it all over. And then we're going to add our seasonings. Liberally season. We need lots of salt because potatoes absorb a lot of salt and they need it. All right, and then I got the Tuscan seasoning all over and some pepper. And we're gonna get that all mixed up. Your hands are your best friend in the kitchen. Use your hands. They're very washable. All right, now we're gonna work on the chicken. I gotta wash my seasoned hands here, so let's wash my chicken. All right, so what we're gonna work on is the butter for the chicken. This is gonna go up underneath the skin of the chicken, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, but let's season this butter up. We're gonna start out with the lemon, with this lemon here. What we're gonna do is take the lemon and we're gonna zest it. We're gonna zest as much lemon, because this is a lemon herb chicken. And the zest has so much lemon flavor in it. You definitely want that in there. Zest is the skin of the lemon. You do not want the white part. The white part is very bitter. That is the pith. You don't want that. You want this. There's a lot of oils and a lot of in fact, right now as I'm grating it, we can smell it through this kitchen. It's just such a clean and fragrant smell. Oh, love it. All right. Okay. All right, I'm going to continuously grate this up, and then we're going to add the garlic. Just about a teaspoon or so of lemon zest. Again, don't worry about measurements. Just do what feels right. All right, now we're gonna add some garlic. some of the whole handful of garlic that I got going on over there. I'm going to add about 3 cloves to this butter. You definitely want this minced finely or mushed up or crushed like this, because we're turning this into basically a paste. Good workout here. Remember, there is no garlic limit. If you want to add 5 cloves of garlic, go right ahead. I am not going to judge. And no one should judge you on how much garlic you put into a dish. That right in there. So, all right, I got some thyme here. Move this to the side. I'm going to chop up nice and fine. And as for the herbs, if you want to add rosemary, go add sage and other our herbs, whatever herbs you can get your hands on, be fine. And there is no set rule on what you use in this chicken. The only thing you should really be mindful is making sure the chicken is cooked all the way. But other than that, everything else is to preference, to taste. If you don't like thyme, don't use thyme. Use parsley. Use marjoram. Use oregano. Use what you love. Use what you have. If you want to use dry herbs, because that's what you got in the kitchen, use dry herbs. Use what you got. All right, we're going to scrape this up. This little thing, such a handy tool. I will link something like this down below because I feel like every kitchen needs one of these things. These things are great for cleaning. They're great for scraping things. It's a very multi-purpose tool. Add that right in. We're going to add some of the Tuscan herbs here. And some salt. The butter is unsalted, so that's why I'm adding salt. But if your butter is salted, don't be careful about the salt content. Alrighty. And some pepper. Good bit of that. And now what we're going to do is take the back of the spoon here. We're going to mush it down. Works a little better if your butter's a little bit more room temperature than mine. I'm going to keep mushing this down until I combine it all, and we'll be back in a second here. All right, so I've started making a pocket underneath. I know it looks kind of funny, but this pocket is what is most important. Do not take the skin off until the end if you're not a skin person, because you're going to need it. This is what's going to create the most flavor. What we're going to do is we're going to take some butter, the butter mixture that we made here, and we're going to stick it right underneath. And then we're going to massage it in, because this is going to flavor the meat underneath as much like so. See? I'm going to massage it in. Don't worry about the cross-contamination, because this entire bowl of the seasoned butter is going all over this chicken. So I'm going to get all in there, all over that meat. Especially that breast meat. That breast meat needs the most flavor because it's a dry portion of the bread, of the bird. Now we're going to add the butter to the top and massage it in. Like I've stated for a million times now, I really don't like messing with raw meat. I don't like touching it. Don't like the feel of it. But your hands really is the most valuable tool in the kitchen, because you want to massage that right in there. That melted butter is going to be using as a base, because you're going to want to do is, once this is in the oven, you're going to want to baste it. If this is going to cook for about an hour, hour and a half, and every 20 minutes or so, you want to baste it because you want to keep adding moisture and flavor to this chicken. All right, we're going to flip them upside down because we are not forgetting this side either. No, we cannot forget that side. So we're going to massage that in. Ooh, I might have to, hold on. Might have to dry that side up a little bit so I don't, what I'm going to do is going to stick this guy in here. We're going to take a paper towel. I'm going to pat this dry and then and we'll be right back. The last step, but also a very, very important step here. We're going to stuff the cavity of this chicken. We're going to put the lemons. We're going to put a couple lemons in here. Shove it right in. Garlic. Tuck everything in there. And then some onion. This is gonna all this stuff is gonna do is just flavor the chicken. I'm just gonna stuff all that up. We're just gonna throw those in there. Nothing pretty. It's not the prettiest looking sight, but it's gonna be gorgeous once it's cooked. I'm gonna cover this with some tin foil. We're gonna put some tin foil over it. We're gonna put that, and then once we get the tin foil over, we're gonna put it in the oven. For the first half hour, we're going to keep the tin foil on so nothing burns, nothing goes like that. And then the rest of the time, we'll take it off and we'll let it brown. The butter is going to promote the browning. So we'll get to that. All right, chicken is done. It looks beautiful. I cannot wait to dig into this. I am not going to dig into it right this moment. I want to take some awesome photos for my YouTube channel, but it looks beautiful. Tomorrow night is another awesome dinner. Stick around and you'll see what's going on. Have a good night. Welcome back. This is night 4. We have a honey mustard pork chops with broccoli and some smashed potatoes, not mashed, smashed. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a bit. It's actually going on in the back right now. Let's go over the ingredients so we can start cooking. All right, so we got the broccoli and cauliflower. I got some ranch seasoning and salt and pepper, or I'm sorry, Italian seasoning. I got yellow mustard, apple cider vinegar, soy sauce, or you can use coconut aminos, honey, and a tablespoon of tomato paste. We got pepper, and avocado oil, and butter. That's it. And we also have the potatoes in the back that are cooking up until they're nice and soft so we can smash them. All right, so we're going to start off by making the honey mustard sauce. All right, so we got about a half a cup of honey mustard. I'm sorry, not yellow mustard. Tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. A couple tablespoons of soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of honey mustard. A nice little hack. Oil your bowl if you're going to use a bowl or your measuring spoon. With then put the honey in. It will help slide right out. We got some tomato paste. This tomato paste actually has some Italian seasonings in it. Kind of cool. I think I accidentally grabbed it. I just grabbed tomato paste. All right. So, and I got some. I'm not going to put the salt in until I taste it because there is soy sauce in here. We don't want to make sure it tastes. We don't want too salty. I'll mix it all up. All right. Very important step. Taste it, see if it needs anything. A little bit more honey. I'm gonna add about another tablespoon or so. There we go. Almost mixed up in there. Perfect. All right, the sauce is done. We have the oven preheated to 400 degrees. We're gonna work on our veggies. I'm actually gonna use a smaller pan. I'm gonna add some olive oil. Sorry, avocado oil. And some salt. And we're gonna mix those all. I'm probably gonna need that bigger pan. This might be okay. All right, we're gonna move those to the side so we have space for our pork chops. Pork chops here. We're gonna put those down here, like so. If you want, obviously you can double or triple the recipe depending on your needs. It's just my husband and I, so I'm just making enough for two. Add a little bit of oil on them. Alrighty. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Are you so? Alright, so I'm adding Italian seasonings to the top, like so. Some salt. I'm gonna do it again to this other side. Oop. All right, got that going, seasoned. All right, so we're gonna add. I'm gonna be careful to not cross-contaminate with this because I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna put a bit on top of each of these, like so. I'm gonna take the back of a spoon and we're gonna do that. Alrighty. And this is gonna go into the oven for about 20-25 minutes at 400 degrees. Okay, so the potatoes are done. You don't want them so soft that they fall apart, but you also want some give to it because we want to do this. Smashed potatoes. You're gonna go and you're gonna do it to each one of these, and then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna. Then what you'll end up doing is taking the butter, ranch, and salt, and you're gonna brush them like that. I might just brush the one side because they're falling apart by just doing that. And then you're gonna go through all of them, and then you're gonna put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about the same time, about 20-25 minutes. Once that is done, we will be back and plating up in a few. All right, it is all done. Dinner is cooked. It smells amazing. The potatoes didn't come out as crispy as I wanted them to, but that's fine. They look delicious anyway. Trial and error, trial and error. Anyway, this is it. Hit subscribe, share, and I will see you next Sunday. Have a great day. Bye.